The new normal, what really is that? I've heard that phrase in the Wall Street Journal. I've heard that phrase from Harvard Business Review. And what I can tell from what people are talking about the new normal is, it's our new digital environment. And while for a lot of people this is very new, for many of us, this is not new. This is very normal. And it's kind of hard to get a grasp on what the environment will look like as soon as we come back from this whole COVID pandemic situation. If you're like me, you've heard some pretty wild accusations as to what we're going to look like after this all gets done. And I'm not sure I believe every accusation. I say accusation because some of it sounds pretty damning. It sounds like from what you may hear, we may not have face-to-face interaction anymore, which I actually don't believe. I believe that we will have lots of interaction with people. Maybe not, the next 4 months. We will probably have more interaction over the next year or so. And here's why I think that. Humans like habits. Our brains are lazy, and so it kind of makes us fall back into things that we like to do, things that we're used to doing. That's not necessarily a problem, but it is something that we have to remember as we're talking about preferences as people are going back. Those are going to change. So in the next few months, even I will be wearing a mask when going into work when we do go back. And that's fine. Social distancing will still happen. That's not a problem. What I'm trying to convey is that some things may change. A lot of things will not. In the next year, we will not be wearing masks to work, more than likely. We'll probably go back to shaking hands, although fewer of us will. And that's fine. I have a feeling that the new normal is going to look a lot like the old normal. When we're talking about what we need to do to adapt to the new normal, we really don't know what that looks like. So what are you adapting to? It's not a problem that we're trying to be visionaries and see what the future is going to lead to. It's just human nature to try to anticipate some of the possible problems we will run into. What I'm a little bit more interested in is how we are going to change for the better. Anytime you go through a rough patch like a pandemic or a situation where you have an economic downturn like we had in 2008 and 2009, it points out a lot of things in our systems that are not working. It shows who we actually like to work with, who we actually value versus who we don't actually value, and our expressed intent versus our expressed action. What we learn coming out of this is probably going to be more valuable than what we had and what we knew about ourselves going in. I really do hope that we have more telework available to people that can actually telework. I hope that we have better plans and contingencies for another event like this happening where we all have to stay at home or we all have to sacrifice for the greater good of the people in the country. Because the truth is, we definitely left some people behind. We left some businesses behind. And because of that, we are going to have a bit of rebuilding to do. I hope everyone out there is staying safe. I hope you're healthy and I hope your family is healthy. I also want to let people know it's still okay not to be okay. We suddenly were ordered to stay home and stop doing business as we usually did. If you're feeling left out, if you're feeling that things are not okay, if you're upset because of that, that's okay. Just make sure you're reaching out to people. Make sure that you're having some human contact virtually, if not face to face. Be careful when you go outside and try to get some time that's just for you. For those of you who are not used to working virtually from home, I would definitely suggest building in time for some self-care. And self-care can be making sure that you have a real lunchtime. It can be going ahead and taking a bath, but make sure you have time to de-stress and to center yourself a bit. And believe me, I understand what you're going through too. My mental health has been something I've been focusing on as well, because hey, last week was a rough week for me, and that's okay. But I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself so that that rough week doesn't become a rough 2 weeks or a rough month, and later on a rough year. Again, thank you so much for watching these videos. Those of you out there who are, do feel free to go ahead and pass these on. I am still offering coaching at rhsimmonsconsulting.com. All you have to do is go ahead and go to the services part of the page, go to the coaching portion, and go ahead and try to schedule an introductory interview. That introductory interview is completely confidential, as is all of my coaching, and what we talk about there will just be between us. You don't have to sign up for additional sessions if you don't want to, and it's going to help me get my ICF certification. And as of right now, all of my coaching is free because I want to make sure that I'm giving back to you guys. It's much better to be part of the solution than to be part of the problem. All right, so hope you guys like the new background, and I'll be coming out with more videos soon. So until that time, take care.